It all started with an idea. What is the worst tank in Hell Let Loose? And can I somehow, with the help of my own individual skill and the help of some competent crew members, bring this vehicle to glory? The tank in question is none other than the Sherman 75 Jumbo. In real life, this thing is badass. It's like a Sherman that has taken steroids. In War Thunder, you just slap a bush over the MG port and the average Tiger player just won't be able to do anything. And this leads me to Hell Let Loose, where if I could describe it, I would say it shouldn't exist. There is no purpose other than to take up menu space for the commander, and the only realistic situation where I can see the 75 Jumbo being viable is if you are about to lose, have 500 fuel, and need to send something in for a Hail Mary to the point to steamroll the infantry and maybe distract an enemy heavy tank. Otherwise, it is simply pointless. I don't even think people would be mad if they just got an intern or someone on Fiverr to slap together a Pershing or Jackson model and copy and paste the 76 stats. Does it make sense that a Jackson could take 2 shots by a Tiger? Absolutely not. But if you expect any semblance of realism of tanking in Hell Let Loose, you're either new or naive. But all these things considered is what drew me to this challenge. I do this in World of Tanks and War Thunder, where I like to get the forgotten and non-meta and downright inferior tanks to try and master and excel with them to prove that even with a handicap, your individual skill can triumph. I attempted this, and it was the closest I have been to wanting to pull my hair out due to a video game.
You know what? That's enough. I'm done for today. I'm done.
But let me establish what my game plan would have been. I went in with a strategy by using this tank's strengths to exploit the German armor's weaknesses. First thing, it is good for infantry support since it takes 3 shots to the sides and rear to disable. The turret and frontal armor are impervious, so sticking with infantry is the golden rule and facing them as well. Next, while it gets half the smokes as the medium tank, they can be used to be thrown at the enemy armor to get them out of an entrenched position and help the infantry push into a point. The next strength boils down to the rarity of this tank, but it's more so wishful thinking, because to an inexperienced tanker on the German team, they might treat it as a medium and firing and giving away their position. And this can be especially problematic if they're in a medium. But the thing is, what use is a heavy tank if it can't contest enemy heavies? And this was my strategy, but you'll know why it was near futile. For the Panther, pretty simple, 3 shots to the turret in this specific spot and you're golden. For the Tiger, you have to hit the turret at a specific spot to cause the shell to ricochet and hit the hull, and it's only 2 shots. But like me, who the hell is gonna make these shots on a normal game? But once again, this is a literal handicap. I've seen people argue that the smokes the 75 Jumbo get are viable, but I disagree. Just take a medium, or if you're lucky, coordinate with your artillery to land smokes where you would normally shoot them. But of course, this actually requires communication that you might not normally get in a normal game. However, another scenario where I think this tank can actually do pretty well in is on a map such as Carrington, sitting the tank's fat ass in the city center, having infantry actually attempt to protect you, and also have a repair station and just lobbing HE towards the direction of the enemy. And if they want to throw rockets at you, they can't scratch you. If they want to sound shoot you, they'll have to deal with the infantry. A tank wants to go around and flank you, well, they'll have to deal with mines and our own anti-tank. And you know what would have made this scenario even better is that many years ago, if you don't know, this tank used to fire the same HE shells that the artillery had. Why they decided to neuter it and make it more like the other tanks and give it no fancy gimmick that sort of makes it at least somewhat viable and unique to make it worth bringing out for the fuel cost, I got no freaking idea. And you know, it would have made you think, the enemy isn't fielding many tanks. We are struggling to defend this point and we're getting absolutely obliterated by infantry. So we'll need something that can lob out big fat HE shells, can't take any damage from the front, and will be golden. But now that you've seen what my thought process going into this challenge was, I really thought we would be able to storm into battle and dominate. I was dead wrong. The first issue, there was no way I could go into a public game and try to get random people to agree to this, so I had to assemble my own suicide squad. We have Fart Sniffer. Don't let his lowish level fool you, since he has almost every hour in this game spent in a tank, against his will because of me and the tank tier list, but we've known each other for a lot of years and we've developed that mindset where you can read each other's minds.
Shuff, move whole left. No, other way.
That's my right!
Next, we have Sergeant Dumbass. Don't let his name fool you. He is a great driver, and I am legally allowed to inform you that he is Polish who has stolen multiple different English accents. But we've got the theory and the crew. This is how I slowly went insane. So, the second problem is actually getting the tank. If you have a commander with more than 2 brain cells, chances are they'll try and upsell you on the 76 jumbo, unless you have this one level 300 commander who only gave it to me because he thought I was based for going against the meta, to the poor dismay of poor Danny boy who was the random person that I was playing with.
Oh, he's gonna rejoin our unit, call you a piece of shit, and then leave.
And winning with it is fun.
Doesn't give a fuck.
Cantu, you're getting that fucking 75
He knows
the
the
whole
battle's
time
lost.
on purpose, weren't you?
But other times, the game would end instantly as soon as we joined, or we'd have too many tank crews to the point where we wouldn't have enough fuel to even ask for the tank. But let me tell you, we were all excited to see this big green monstrosity spawn in.
Oh, you're the fucking best commander, thank you.
Oh, let's go, Jumbo!
I can't believe we're excited to use the worst fucking tank in the game.
And truthfully, in almost every scenario you see this tank in with the gameplay I'm showing you, we could have just used the medium since there wasn't any risk of a German heavy, and we could have gotten there faster and lobbed out more HE shells quicker. But eventually we did get this tank in a couple of scenarios to really push it against the infantry, and it was pretty decent. But of course, as a heavy tank, you have to fight other heavies, especially if you're the only tank crew, and this is where I pretty much had a near mental breakdown. If you toss in my real life debuffs, such as nicotine withdrawal, coupled in with people yelling at me in command chat and my own mates yelling at me in my other ear, you can imagine how I felt engaging a panther from long distance head on. I tried to either smoke it out of its position to no effect, since they nerfed how long the smoke screens last on this thing ages ago, and tried hitting the little slither on the panther turret from a distance. It was either a miss or a ricochet. Truthfully, however, the guy in the panther was having his own skill issue related difficulties, and I literally had all the time in the world to destroy this tank, which would have been no more than 3 to 4 shots. I do have to give myself room for error, but I could have done all this in that many shots with the 76 jumbo. I wouldn't be getting screamed at in command chat, and we would have retaken the point, and the whole engagement would have been over in like a minute. But the thing is, I whine on about this vehicle like it's something you have to use when you just don't call it in. But I don't know, I've spent hundreds of hours tanking in Hell Let Loose, and it just gets so repetitive after a while, especially looking at Squad 44 with its ridiculous amount of variety. And sure, there are tanks that are considered meta in that game, but a lot of them do feel kind of unique, and you don't feel like you are actively sabotaging your team by using this pretty cool tank. But moral of the story, I wish Hell Let Loose would maybe brush up on the tank mechanics, or maybe just replace this tank, adjust its fuel costs, or just give it some purpose, because at the moment it's just an absolute turd. But I am going to end today's video there. I hope you did enjoy it, because if you did, please click the video that is on screen, because I know you'll enjoy it. Anyways, my name is Tan2, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace. Yeah, you see that,
Yeah, that.
Yeah, I see that.
You see that?